All right, so the next poet is the founder of Say Word. So please put your hands together for Kat McGill. Y'all give it up for Kat. Got a dress on and some shoes.
Dear fellow white people, I would like to address a few things that have been happening for the last forever. One, if you have not noticed, we are not Jesus nor God, and most likely Jesus is black. Two, privilege has nothing to do with money, so stop telling people how poor you grew up in the hood to justify how down you are. Three, stop using the word hood. Four, having a child of color doesn't magically turn you into an ally or Malcolm X or gives you a reason to run out and get blonde micro braids with beads swinging at the end of them. Five, please stop. The definition of privilege is one, confidential, not making the participants liable to persecution, or two, belonging to a class that enjoys special privileges, like driving down the street without being pulled over for absolutely no reason, or walking in America with a wallet in your pocket without it being assumed it's a gun, or twerking on police cars and just being called crazy kids, or talking to you about college instead of trade school, or having a hood raised over your head because you are cold and not be murdered because you wanted warmth, or hearing this story a million times before through the brown bodies, but right now you feel like you're hearing it for the first time because of what I look like. We have raised the flame too high on our tongues. We keep our neighborhoods loaded with plantation on our chins. It's no coincidence that trigger and the N-word sound so much alike. Notice how the word doesn't need to be said in a poem. Stop looking for ways to slide past the bars we cemented to begin with. Or can we not deal with one thing in this world not belonging to us? Can we not understand that no one needs us as a savior, that our God speaks in more than guilt, that searching for terrorists is just a decoy of towers to hide behind, that money, well, money is irrelevant if it isn't sitting between opportunity and justice, that oppression is an open mouth fallen in silence, that privilege is the same as law because our words handcrafted the gavel, that race in America is us sprinting from the starting line, looking back at the shackles and wondering why no one moved when the gun went off. Don't speak to me about the fight when we are so willing to suck a punch and escape route the moment the burning building is being turned into black ashes, and we, with a gas leak to begin with, stop calling an inferno an ember. Let's get uncomfortable. Let's talk about how I attended a school with 90% black students, lived in an all-black neighborhood, raised a daughter of color, and still have to acknowledge that I will not be able to understand the war she will have to face. How difficult it is to see everyone around me persecuted, and I am never at the barrel of this racist firing squad. This privileged shit ain't always easy to swallow. So, let's ask the questions about the shit we don't know. Take our hands the fuck away from people's hair. Teach Miley what a minstrel show looks like, and tell Robin Thicke that Paula Patton won't excuse him. Remove urban as a password for the children we like to lock up, and stand up for the spines that built this country, because we seem to have everything to say about rights for women, sexuality, the environment. Hell, even polar bears get more conversation than race in America. So this must seem odd coming from a woman that looks like me. I just figured that you wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth, since your blinders can only see the white finish line. This genocide has been cleverly disguised as the war on drugs, or gang intervention, or at-risk youth, or military recruitment. We are revitalizing downtown with no concern of how far we push our boundaries to bulldozer over anyone that doesn't fit the billboard. It's funny how the words gentrification and assimilation seem to rhyme, how time doesn't seem to ignore the bodies under our soil, how we adopt brown babies to give us so-called better life but can't keep a bottle of lotion in the house, how dry our skin becomes without anyone noticing the brittle fear held in our pores, how quickly assumptions become slander, become fact, become homicide with a free man verdict. And let me guess, You think we are the ones with clean hands who preach no color lines. Well, guess what, honey? Not recognizing a person's heritage, culture, and ethnicity is just as racist. I wonder, is it the difference that scares us, or how similar we all are with our pumping blood and beating organs with gospel in our throats? Are you the one wailing or praising, preaching or listening, confessing or confound the muted conversation of our ancestors? I guess it's hard to hear someone scream when we are too busy defending ourselves. When we are just the witness from a third-story window watching a robbery without any help in our hands, because it's none of our business, right? We must sleep peacefully knowing we are safe, privileged to walk around without anyone wanting to pull back our skin or be born casualty but labeled as threat. It must be nice in America for us to have our own name. It must be nice to know where we came from, our religion, our traditions, our history to come without a price tag. It must be nice to have made this America and send her cries to voicemail. Do me a favor. Check your messages every once in a while. Sincerely, your fellow white woman refusing to be silent.
This is the woman that created the reason why we're here. Can you see why? This is the woman that founded the organization Say Word. Can you see why? Can you imagine this voice helping to create the world that we want by bringing those issues and those messages into our school system and teaching the fellow leaders that will create a world where that poem will no longer be necessary? That is what Say Word is about. That is the voice that started it. That's the mentality that started it. That, if nothing else, is the reason why we need your donations. Because that world, the world that we can create that eliminates the need for that, is possible with every dollar that you give. That is the power of this art form of spoken word. And I'm excited to see what the judges have to say about Simply Cat's poem. Oppression is an open mouth falling into silence. Don't let that be your problem. Don't let that happen to you. Speak up. Say word. Shihan.